Okay everyone, another customer project. This is going to be a quick one. Basically putting a plow on this, or a plow attachment. This customer had me pull this off of a Chevy S10 that he was using to plow a parking garage here in downtown Syracuse, and pretty rusty, nasty. The S10 that he had was done. Transmission was junk, frame was junk. It was just a complete piece of crap. So I'm modifying this to work on this Ford over here. Plan right now is I took off. This thing's got two tow hooks on the front that bolt in, and the frame is actually a 4-inch wide frame and it's completely boxed in. So, and this sits in the center of the frame towards the front of the frame by the bumper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bracket basically just like this. Ignore all the drawing on there for now, but this will be the shape of the bracket. It's going to mount between this and the frame just like that. Okay? And then for a little bit of extra support, right along this line right here, there'll be a piece of plate that comes up vertical and butts up against this edge here. This black section here is going to be some 2x2 1/8 inch wall tubing, square tubing, and that'll go from this side to the driver's side, because this is a passenger side bracket. This section right here, you can see with the pencil markings, basically from here all the way across, what that is going to be for this bracket right here. Okay, I'm going to take the Everlast Power Plasma 50 and cut off this rough cut edge, because this area is flat and level with this area, whereas this is not. So I'm going to cut that flat, grind it, clean it all up, and then this will be welded to the bottom of that bracket. I may have to do a little bit of, I may have to cut this whole thing off and raise it up a little bit. Got to do a couple more measurements because it's going to be a real close call between the clearance between that and this lower air dam here on the truck. So a couple more final measurements after I cut that bracket out to make sure that it's all going to clear. I think it might anyways without having to do any adjustments, but it's going to be real close. So that'll be the plan for the front. The back, I'm probably going to remove these, which were originally mounted to the front diff, or the front cross member where the front diff is on the S10, and it's not going to work with this one. So I'm going to, after that front section's in and this is all bolted in, then I'm going to worry about bringing something back towards the same front diff cross member type thing on the truck. I might have to weld a little bit of a bracket between the cross member. Let me show you here. Oh, this is terrible lighting. But here we are. Here's where that bracket will attach to. Then back here, what I'm thinking about doing is making a triangular style gusset that goes from here to here on the inside of the frame rail, from here to here, and I'll weld that piece in and probably have a hole drilled in it, so it'll just be one or two bolts, and that'll allow that rear section of the plow to attach to that point. I still got to figure that out. I may completely change my mind on that, but we'll see. So I'll talk to you guys in a second when I get some more progress done. Back again, and I've got the brackets basically done. There may be a gusset that goes in here, but I'm not sure just yet. I'm not sure that I want it right now. The reason being is I'm welding. You can see it's two pieces first. Let me show you that. There's a weld bead on the outside here. You can't see it very well, and there's a weld bead on the inside on both of them. There's no other point where this bracket is welded, except for it's got a couple of tacks here at the top. Same goes for this one, just a couple of tacks there at the top. Okay, now the reason why I just have a couple of tacks there is to hold this in position. I'm going to put this underneath the truck. These are not attached. Run the bolts in here, get it all lined up. Same thing here, get it all lined up. And then once everything's bolted in and tight, I'm going to measure the distance between this plate and this plate. And I'm going to cut my 2x2 by 1/8 inch wall square tubing and run it basically right here to right here across. I need to make sure that I bevel the edge for the weld bead so that it butts up against here nice and tight. Once I do that and I got that piece cut, I'm going to put it up underneath the truck with this, and I'm going to just toss a couple of tacks on there just to hold it in place so that it makes it all one unit. Maybe a tack here, maybe a tack here, and a tack here, and a tack here, just to hold it in place. Once it's in place, I'm going to unbolt everything, bring it out here, finish welding everything. There's going to be a weld all the way along the edge, all the way around, down, and back out here on both brackets for that square tubing. And then at that point, I'm going to decide on what I want to do as far as possible gusseting, okay? This is 3/16 plate, so it will bend, okay? It's strong stuff, but it will bend, and when you're plowing, you want to make sure that everything's nice and strong. The reason why I'm a little hesitant about putting gussets is this is where I would put the gusset. It basically come from here up to here down to here, okay, which would make this plate really, really strong because none of this is going to bend. If it bends, it's going to bend right here, okay, twisting it or whatever. I don't think it will, but I just want to make sure before I finalize the project. I might put that gusset. I don't want to do it because of this pocket right here. What that's going to do is it's going to create, even though it's open, because this is the bottom side that you're seeing at the top, even though it's open, you pack enough mud, salt, snow, whatever inside of here, and it's going to start rusting immediately in there. Anytime you have pockets like that, it's best to give them as much drainage as possible so that you can wash that stuff out of there and get it all out, and you don't have to worry about it just piled up in there and just eating away the metal. So that's why I'm hesitant. Also, this bracket here is going to act like a gusset. I'm going to lay a weld all the way across here on both of these, okay? So that this ties in and ends up being one unit. I don't want to put weld beads down here and all around here. I don't think it's necessary just because there's going to be bolts holding it. But I want this here, and the reason why I want that here, and I designed this that way because I want, okay, you have the tubing here. It's going to be, all the force is going to try to twist it this way, which will twist this plate like that, which this plate here will help with that twisting issue, especially with it tacked, or not tacked, but welded to this. It'll also, because of the force, it's going to want to try to push it down this way, which would actually be up when it's under the car or truck. So it's going to try to pull this plate out, and if I have this welded along here, then it's going to hold it better. So that's another reason why I don't think I need any gussets, because this is acting like one. But I'll judge that. I'll play that one by ear when I get all this on there. If it looks a little bit sketchy, I'll deal with it. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys when I get some more progress done. Okay, so I've got the cross member completely finished other than paint. Went ahead and welded it across here, all the way around. Doubled up the beads here because there was a gap. Same thing here. A lot of spatter. Had my settings wrong, but it's going to be plenty strong enough. So it's all good to go. I'm going to take this and bolt it up underneath the truck in just a few. I don't want to burn the shit out of myself because it's still warm. Then at that point, I'm going to start working on this front piece. And you see here, I cut this, I don't know, it's probably a 1/4 inch plate, or actually it's probably thicker than that. I don't even know, that might be 3/8. Either which way, I cut that plate there with my Everlast Power Plasma 50. It was sticking up above this, and I didn't want it to, so now I need to grind this whole surface down on both of those and prep that area to weld, because I'm going to weld those feet right in here to this 2-inch. Okay, and once that's all in there, what I may end up doing, because I know it's going to end up being really, really close. So I know it's going to be like about that close how my finger is. So I may end up filling this area right here with bead, and this area as well. And what that'll do is it'll help tie it into this vertical plate, and just beef it up more, give it a little bit more meat. It's not going to look all that great, but you know, because I'm stacking beads, but it'll be nice and strong. So, and that's all that matters. So that's the next step. Talk to you guys in a second. Here's where we're at, everyone. This little part that hangs down underneath the round tubing, we've got to modify it, unfortunately. Basically what we're looking at is, I had this all mounted up underneath the bottom of the truck, and this lower section right here is about maybe 4 inches off the ground with no weight of the plow or anything. So that's not good. So what I need to do is on the inside here, you see where the mounting brackets are for the plow. I need to raise all that up. I'm hoping to get about 3 inches up. Two is better than what's going on there, but 3 inches is what my goal is. So I'm going to have to cut this whole center section out between the two tubing pieces and rework that, and then put it all back together, and then get it back underneath the truck. I've had some delays too, you know, not just that, but I had a leak in my gas line for my welder, and came out here, there was no gas. Plus I was going to start working on the electrical on that. I'm not going to show you guys that. I might show you the final product, but I'm not going to show you guys the process of that, because there's no point. I'm not showing you electricity or electrician work out here. But none of the cables that were with this plow reached the battery or anything that I needed, so I had to go buy some new battery lines or battery cables. So hopefully I'll get this out of here today. So, alright, talk to you guys in a second. Okay, so back again. As you can see, I've got this all welded up. I'm going to make one more adjustment. If you see right here, I cut this, and the reason why I cut this is because this side over here was clearly dragging on the ground at some point, because it's ground down. You can also see it's hit here. So, because this was already ground down, and those two holes, you know, that bottom adjustment was pretty much useless, I decided to cut this to give it some clearance, because this side wasn't ground down. Okay, so this is what I plan on doing, because right now we're about a little over 1.5 inches more clearance than I was at. So that puts us at about 5.5 inches of ground clearance, and I would really like to be closer to 6 or a little bit over. So now that this is completely welded, okay, you know, what basically I did is I cut this off, and then I notched everything as much as I possibly could, and to bring that down. This back brace right here was cut down to pretty much nothing. You see I put a weld all along the inside of that V, just to strengthen it up. I'll have to put another weld on the back side. I don't want to touch it right now because it's hot, but basically over here, I just can't see it, and I'm going to wait till I flip it over to do that. But this is what I'm thinking. If I take this and plasma cut it all the way to the bottom of this hole, or which would be the top of this hole, because this whole contraption is upside down right now, and just eliminate that hole altogether, okay? Take it all the way to this angle on both of those, and then cut this down that 1/2 inch or so that is, and then cut this all the way across the same way, and same way across there. That should allow me to shave off at least a 1/2 inch, maybe more, leaning towards about 3/4 of an inch. And then what I'll do, because that takes off a lot of meat on this, I'll take some 2x2 1/8 inch wall angle iron and basically cut it to fit between this and that, and then so it comes up like this and over, and that'll brace it up. This way this will have the weld bead inside, then I'll just weld a bead across here and across here. That should tie it all up real nice and neat and have it really strong. So it'll also, what that'll also do is give me a flat back on here, which is where I need to take the braces off. I need to mount some braces that come off of there and tie into the back cross member that I'm going to have underneath the truck. So that'll be good, because I'll probably use some vertical cross members there, because right now they were the flat, but they were using angle iron. If I just do some 3/8 plate and cut some brackets, come back, and I can put 2 bolts on each side, weld them to this part, but then 2 bolts on this side that'll bolt into the cross member that I'm going to be putting in there. So that's the plan. I'm going to let this cool off just a little bit, just because I don't feel like burning the hell out of myself, and then I'm going to get to cutting that piece off and get this under the truck. So talk to you guys in a second. Okay, everyone, back with some progress. I got this cross member in. This is going to be the back support. It's welded to the frame. I've got this bumper plow attachment thing all trimmed out. Got it tack welded in place on both sides. So the jack's underneath there, but that's just because I haven't got out of underneath there. That's the clearance. Can't even get my finger in there. And we've got, here's my hand, my fist. I ended up raising it about 3 inches, which is awesome. Got plenty of clearance now. Where are we at here? About 6.5 inches, even though you can't see it because of the stupid light. Okay, whatever. But that's what we got. It's pretty good. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna climb out of underneath here and do my final measurements, make sure everything's lined up where it's supposed to be, jump back down here and weld that bead all the way across, and then on the back side of that I'll do the same thing, and the same thing on the other side over there. So that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys in a second. Okay, everyone, everything's done. It's a wrap. Boy, was this a real pain in the ass. Let me tell you what, taking these headlights out of a Ford Expedition, and I think the F-150s are a real pain in the ass. Real fucking stupid design. Anyway, lots and lots of problems. Broke the terminals off the motor because they were rusted. The solenoid for the plow was rusted. Had to buy another one. Went to Napa, they gave me the wrong one. I ended up just getting this one. It's a 4 connector, you just don't use the other one. It works good. It's off of a Ford for a starter. Let me give you a quick rundown. On the wiring harness for the Meyer, it's a Meyer E57 plow. There's a white wire. This goes to your S terminal on your solenoid. Okay, your orange wire goes to your ground. The other 3 wires are real straightforward. They just go over here to these things, whatever the hell they're called. There's 3 of them on there. Then from there on out, there's a blue wire that goes to an auxiliary power supply to power up the controller. Then you have your leads here, your battery leads. I know mine are both red, but this is negative, this is positive. I just didn't want to go out and buy another 25-foot spool of that crap. Negative goes straight to the battery ground, or negative goes straight to the battery negative. Positive from the pump goes over here to the solenoid. The other side of the solenoid goes to the positive on the battery. And that's it, wired up, ready to go. Lights I'm not gonna get into. I'm kind of in a rush, I need to take this to the customer. But let me show you what I did underneath here. So, you see, I've got the 45-degree bracket welded onto to this cross tube. We got the 2 bolts there, and it goes into the back side of the main cross member for the plow, and it's welded to that. So it'll unbolt those 2 bolts, and it'll unbolt the tow hook right here, and that's how you pull it down on both sides. So, real pain in the butt, like I said, but that's it. I just wanted to show you guys the finished product. So, like always, subscribe, comment, like, check out alvarezmetalworks.com. Go like our Facebook page. And what else? Oh, the link is on our website, on the main, on the top part of our website is where the link's at. Sorry, I'm in a hurry. We also started up a Twitter page for those who are on Twitter. That link is also on our website. We got our Google Plus page because YouTube's made it mandatory now, so go ahead and feel free to add the page to your circles, follow it, whatever. All that good stuff, all the social media stuff. So all those links are on my website at the top of the website. That's it for now. Thanks for the support, and talk to you guys later.